What's up, adventurers? Here's a gallery of the best Overland vehicles from SEMA 2024, both inside the West Hall's Overland section and the rest of the show. I've grouped these, so check the timestamps in the description if you want to jump back to something. These sweet little Kei Trucks from Grasshopper are imported from Japan, so they're all right-hand drive, and then fully customized however you want. If you're unfamiliar with Kei Trucks, it's spelled K-E-I, and it's basically a class of vehicle with a very small engine. They get their own type of license plate in Japan and have fewer restrictions on where and how they can park. They're massively popular, especially in the city suburbs and narrow rural roads. I saw them everywhere when I was there bikepacking, and they're a popular but uncommon import. Grasshopper does complete customizations to make them into campers, race vehicles, transport trucks, whatever you want. Here's a screenshot of their flyer. Just pause on this if you want to get their contact info. The Lexus GX470 is one of my favorites just because that's what I'm building right now. This one was parked front and center, but there were not very many of them around the show at all. A little more common was the new GX550, which is the current model. And this black and white one was super clean with rooftop tint, roof rack, and matching black rims. More common was the new Land Cruiser. This one was over in Hankook's booth showing off the Dynapro tires, and other examples were strewn about the show with various brands showing off their equipment. The older ones were a little more exciting. This one had a monstrous build with all the stuff on top and a pretty cool carbon fiber hood. The monstrous rear bumper rack holds a swing out for a full-size tire, a full-size floor jack, lots of containers for water and fuel, and this hitch-mounted full-size Warn winch. But the absolute best Land Cruiser at the show was this 1959 FJ28 Land Cruiser pickup called Taco Tuesday. It was built by Profits Resurrection, who specializes in just Land Cruisers, and it's a resto mod that's been stretched to become a four-door, then built over the new mechanical and interior of a current Tacoma, plus a modern V6 from Toyota that's also been supercharged. The chassis was custom built to support the extra weight, and then the suspension was built with a parallel 4-link suspension in the front with a hacked axle and drivetrain that's mixed between 80 series Land Cruisers and a Tacoma, so that all the safety, traction control, and even the lane keep assist and collision avoidance from the new Tacoma still works. Even the rear bumper has modern blind spot and parking sensors paired with retro lights from various model years. They have one-off custom wheels from Nomad to complete the retro look. The inside has Tacoma seats front and rear, all covered in catskin leather, and the dash had to be made 8 inches narrower to fit. Yes, that is a 6-speed manual transmission. All told, there's about 4,000 hours in this build, and it'd be around 400,000 if you wanted to make one for you. Next, let's look at full-size trucks. The Dodge booth had a few different Ram pickups in there with lots of Mopar parts for customizing them, from roll bars to tire carriers to rear racks and cages. They even have a 2-inch suspension lift kit with Fox suspension parts. Pause this if you want to get the details. Liquid Springs had 3 monster full-size builds outside. Check out the wheelbase length on this guy. This one is a little more typical of an RV, which, if you want the creature comforts and getting off grid, something like this might work. And this one from Ross Monster kind of blends the two. Lots of creature comforts, but a much more capable off-road build with a much higher suspension lift. This one was super interesting. It starts life as a 200 series Land Cruiser SUV, and then they chop the rear off and add the Enduro campers. The build is from Tactical Application Vehicles if you want to check them out. And this was a pretty cool build on a Tundra with a pop-top truck bed camper. Now it's on to Broncos. Ford's booth was showing off the Bronco Wild Fun accessories we covered prior to the show, including these new tubular doors available through dealers. More exciting were these carbon fiber and fiberglass doors from Anderson Composites, which have gaping holes and probably better aerodynamics. This was Post Malone's new Bronco, built with MagnaFlow exhaust, a new cambered long travel suspension with Fox 3.0 shocks, KC highlights, a Warn winch, and a lot more. And here's a very clean 2-door classic Bronco with soft top and heavily modified suspension. This one looks like a Bronco, but it's actually a Scout resto mod by Velocity Restorations. Alright, now we're on to other SUVs. This 4Runner was very nice looking, really well built, and I love that blue color. And this Sequoia was in Hankook's booth, again showing off their new Dynapro AT2 tires. Honda didn't have a lot in the way of full-on Overland builds, and not many other people were using them as a platform, but I could see this HRC prototype doing quite well on showroom floors. Liqua Moly stickers were everywhere, so either they sponsor everyone or their product is just really good and everybody loves it. Either way, this G-Class was pretty stellar. However, I'm kind of wondering if it has enough lights on the front. This Nissan Armada was one of the few Nissans built out, another brand that just didn't have a ton of representation from private builders or brands on the show. This Defender was a customer's personal vehicle that had a lot of EcoFlow products in an ultra clean build, so they invited him to park it in their booth. Up top, an EcoFlow air conditioner pumps cold air into the tent, and he simply sets it on top of the storage boxes when it's in use. The interior was packed with an EcoFlow fridge, battery, and power systems, plus all the accoutrement you'd want for camping. He had lots of gear incredibly well hidden and organized throughout the vehicle. I'm a sucker for an off-road Porsche and love the Cayenne builds. This one was an exceptionally good example with a great Martini Racing paint scheme that carried over to the roof box. Check out that double row of lights on the roof too. This looks like a precarious spot for a radiator, but the rest of the underbody was well protected. A full swing-out bumper holds a full-size spare, water, propane, and tools. Note that color-matched high-lift jack too. Super clean interior storage with a slide automatic fridge. And here's a close-up of the build list if you want to pause the video to see everything. This Toyota RAV4 showed what can be done with a few bolt-on parts and a small suspension lift. Pretty awesome actually. At the other extreme is the Vanlife Vengeance, a luxury SUV that starts at $285,000 before adding the full military package. Do that and you get bulletproof glass and body armor, underbody explosive protection, smoke screen, run flat tires, thermal night vision, EMP protection, ram bumpers, explosive device detection, bulletproof vests and helmets for passengers, electrified door handles, blinding lights, and a whole lot more. It even includes pepper spray nozzles on the mirrors. Also ridiculous is the top-level luxury package on the new Infiniti QX80 SUV. The inside is as nice as they come, but what's really cool is the invisible hood view that uses cameras around the vehicle to display what's under and in front of it on the oversized dash screen, making it seem like you're looking through the hood to see what's under and in front of the car. And if you thought your glamping setup was nice, well, check this out. And yes, this will actually be a factory option on the autograph trim package. Predictably, there were a lot of Tacomas, most of which we've covered in other videos as they were used for show vehicles in a lot of booths. The craziest was the HellTaco, a beast of a vehicle in Toyo's Tread Pass showcase that only looks like a Tacoma, but is far bigger and badder underneath. Built by Miso Customs, it's basically half Tundra, half Hellcat with its 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi V8. To fit that, they basically went with a Tundra body, except with a Ford Bronco front subframe. The entire hood and fenders were molded into a single piece, then hinged from the front to open forward. Suspension is a twin traction beam front with solid axles, front and rear, and with custom shocks. Check out Tacoma Beast's channel for a deep dive on this thing. If you want something even more aggressive, this concept Deep Orange vehicle was built as a student project at Clemson University. It's designed as a search and rescue vehicle with a deep center well that fits a stretcher on a slide-out rotating platform, making it easy to get injured folks on it and in and out. The passenger seat swivels to face the patient to facilitate triage. It's a hybrid powertrain with semi-active suspension and semi-autonomous driving capability, all programmed and designed at the college. Huge side-access storage compartments stow winches and other rescue and recovery gear. As far as school projects go, this is one of the coolest I've ever seen. There were definitely plenty of Jeeps. This one stood out for its rear compartment on a flatbed design, making the most of the Gladiator body style. And it's the only one I snapped a pic of other than Jeep's booth, which is a separate post. Nissan had this Frontier Trailgator concept, showing off some Nismo components and a clever pop-up swivel-out flat screen over a camp kitchen, perfect for trail taming and tailgating. There weren't a ton of vans, which kind of surprised me, but this Sprinter had a solid off-road build, and this full-size had a huge lift and aggressive suspension. The wheels and tires were borderline mall crawly, but a full body armor coating, tough stuff tent nodding, and roof rack make it adventure ready. Last up, Trail Trailers had this compact, high clearance adventure trailer with plenty of drawers and molly panels for storing gear inside, outside, and under the rooftop tent. They're made in America and come in various sizes, including smaller ones to pull behind UTVs. Hey, thanks a ton for watching. If you want more great SEMA coverage with roundups for suspension and racks and a whole lot more, check out all the coverage on adventurouswayoflife.com.